All right, we're live. Monday night, we are on time because it's me and you. Me and you, we're always on time. A little short one tonight, not too crazy. Some news, little market report. I know Chris got some crazy pickups, some good pickups, interesting pickups. So we'll get to it and let's go. So here we go.
What's good?
Fucking cover price. Let's go.
Appreciate the support.
Always, man. So we're gonna crank out the news. Stuff together over here. This is a rumor. I guess it's kind of unconfirmed. I guess it's a rumor, but maybe, like we talked about in the green room, a little close to the chest, maybe. So they say Chris Evans has already signed his contract to return for Avengers: Secret Wars, and is reportedly playing Human Torch in the Deadpool Wolverine cameo fest. They call it.
Yeah, the rumor is, at least around Wolverine and Deadpool, that they basically got everybody. I mean, like, again, spoilers. If you don't want to hear this, bail now. Michael Chiklis was spotted in costume on set like months back. So anyone they could get, they brought back.
So for me, it's like, how much money do you think he paid all these people to get them back, right? I guess it's a SAG day, right? I guess theoretically. I mean,
I think Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman have a bunch of friends.
Oh yeah.
I think you're basically dropping in to do like a day's worth of shooting, if that. And let's be real about it. Like, let's run through everyone who was like prominently featured in previous Fox properties. Mm-hmm. I mean, Jessica Alba has kind of like basically focused on being a mom for the most part and kind of disappeared from Hollywood. Yep. I ain't seen Michael Chiklis in anything since the Fantastic Four movie, because that was after The Shield had ended and he didn't transition to like being a big time star. I mean, really, out of that whole crew, like, Chris Evans is the only one who like is a notable actor at this point. I mean, the guy from Nip Tuck didn't really go on to do much of anything else. And the guy who played Miss Fantastic in that, I think he went and did a WB TV show for a little while after this. But yeah, generally speaking, like, you know, most of the people, with the exception of, you know, Lawrence Fishburne as the voice of the Silver Surfer, like, most of the people who were in this aren't currently like big names in Hollywood anymore.
I forgot Kerry Washington was even in this movie.
Oh yeah, because she played his blind love interest.
Yeah, which is insane. Like, I didn't think I remember it now, but if you would have asked me that like a Jeopardy question, I would have been like, no, she was never in a Marvel movie.
But yeah, I mean, that was back when she was like very much so a nobody. I mean, I think that predates her doing Out of Time with Denzel Washington. Yeah, that would predate. I think it predates her doing Out of Time with Denzel Washington. So I mean, she was taking whatever she could get.
They had Daredevil, right? Fantastic, the new Fantastic Four, Elektra, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, Ben Affleck's doing stuff, but what's her face? Jennifer Gardner wanted to be like Quentin is doing her mom thing. Almost the entire cast of the early X-Men franchise are kind of like all over the place. But
I heard Rebecca Romaine Stamos was talking about coming back as in this as I don't know if it was true or confirmed. She was talking about she would like to come back.
Yeah, I mean, I can see her coming back. I can see Halle Berry being willing to do a quick cameo. I can see Femke being willing to do a quick cameo.
She was doing the con circuit too, I seen.
Yeah, so I mean, like, everybody who's been featured in these things prior to this, I could easily see being willing to come back within reason. I mean, what's name's already signed to a Marvel contract in the form of Apocalypse. Why am I blanking on his name right now? Oscar Isaac. Yeah, so Oscar Isaac is signed to Moon Knight / Disney related stuff.
Same with Evan Peters, right?
Yeah, so I mean, I feel like all these people would be more than willing to come back and do cameos in the movie. But I think Evan Peters is actually coming back for the Agatha Harkness TV show in some capacity. So again, like, they can get all these people, and I don't think it's going to cost them a whole lot of money. I mean, even no slight at Jennifer Lawrence, but this ain't the Jennifer Lawrence of that X-Men movie, nor of coming off of the Hunger Games success, her winning the Oscar. Yeah. This is Jennifer Lawrence coming off of her gross out humor rom-com situation that happened like last year. Like a lot of these people's careers are like, hey, to be in the public eye.
Olivia Munn hasn't done anything.
I think the last thing I saw her in that was like a major studio release was the Predator movie.
Was she in Vinyl? Remember that series Vinyl? Was she in Vinyl?
I would have said the Predator movie was after Vinyl.
Was it?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know. Anyways, yeah. So yeah, maybe it is cheaper than I think it is. at the end of the day, but like you said, they're famous. Yeah.
It's gonna cost you some coin, but none of these people are in the prime of their careers anymore.
Yeah, it's not. I guess you're not doing Robert Downey Jr. where it's just throw out some crazy number like $10 million a day or some stupid shit like that.
Yeah, like these guys are not to slight them, but they're cold product. It's a lot easier to get cold product than it is to get the new hotness.
Hey man, it's dead spec. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, true story.
Terrible. This shit on everybody's career. It's fine. Okay.
Honestly, let's be real about it. That Russo brothers Gray Man movie did not do well. His character got killed off in it, so that's the end of that. He was in the first, immediately after he did the Glass Onion. But yeah, he hadn't been doing a whole hell of a lot either.
Lightyear was terrible. From a theatrical.
Ghosted did not do well. I don't even remember. Oh, yeah, he's uncredited and Don't Look Up.
Pain Hustler was okay, I thought. I thought I saw that, but maybe I didn't. I thought I did. Free Guy was just a cameo.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, Knives Out.
So yeah, now we're back to Marvel movies at this point. So yeah, I just, no slight against him, but I just think he's doing the voice of Lucas Lee on the Scott Pilgrim miniseries TV show. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just saying, like, a lot of people are not, what they were 5 years ago, 6 years ago. So getting them to come back and do a cameo, or getting them to come back and reveal these characters.
Chris Evans is evergreen. How dare you? That's funny.
I'm just being real about it. Like, there's some. At this point, like, I've heard people make jokes about it, but there's maybe some legitimacy. I won't call it because I don't believe in curses, but in the same way that you have the Madden curse or the Heisman curse,
it's the Marvel curse, man.
I think there might be a little something there because
the only person who actually got something was Robert Downey Jr. playing Oppenheimer, right?
And that still took a while.
Yeah. It's not like it was next fucking project.
The next project bombed horribly. That was Doolittle.
Yeah,
like he was coming right off of Endgame. And both him and Spider-Man were in.
And then we had Sherlock Holmes 2, right?
That was during the his Marvel heyday. So like the things that came out during the Marvel heyday were The Judge, was Chef with the guy who directed the first Iron Man movie, Favreau.
John Favreau.
So you had Chef with Favreau. You had
Scarlett Johansson was in that movie.
Yeah, pretty much everybody who was in Iron Man 2 was in that movie. Sherlock Holmes, Due Date. So yeah, all the movies that he made while he was doing that did relatively well.
Yeah.
But I think it was because he had earned the cachet of, from Marvel.
Now, do you think? I just flow with me for this one for a second. Do you think, since you have so much money, just let's be honest, with all the Marvel movies, you're getting a lot of money, right? You just don't even care at this point. You just take, whatever's, I wouldn't say easier, but
No, because you don't want to get in the scenario of, there's a certain name for them, but it's the
I wouldn't say straight to DVD, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah.
It's the like Redbox Dadflix, where it's like, where a Mel Gibson or a Bruce Willis would show up for 30 minutes, stand around, not do anything, and you basically plaster them on the box art and stick it
eat some food in a couple scenes.
Yeah, and stick it in Redbox. Like, I think these guys have a little too much self-respect to go that route. I mean, Robert Downey Jr. wanted his Oscar. I mean, because he got nominated for Chaplin, but never won one. Didn't win one. You know,
I don't count this either, because Zendaya is not like a main. I would say not a main character. I mean, I know she's you know, but you know what I'm saying. Like,
I mean, she's only appeared in the Spider-Man movies, because she didn't even show up in the bus scene in Far From Home, or no, not Far From Home. The bus scene in Infinity Wars.
Yeah,
and also too, like Zendaya. So Zendaya had a semi career before she came to Marvel. Technically, so did Mackie. So like Elizabeth Olsen definitely did. Ruffalo definitely did. Like, they were doing their whole indie thing way before they ever hopped into this, and they were never like the prominent focus of the MCU. Zendaya definitely not. Like, I mean, she truly only exists. I mean, you might be able to make a better argument for Gwyneth Paltrow than Zendaya, because at least Gwyneth Paltrow has been in other films than the one franchise that she belongs to. But yeah, I mean, she has made it she has made a conscious effort to do unsafe films, like to take chances and to go out there and do things that push against the Disney veneer and, you know, comic book movie focus that she has had historically. And I think the other folks they're in the same vein of like they're protecting their brands. And yeah, I think like Spider-Man, Tom Holland made an attempt, but he still didn't push too far. I mean, he pushed outside the boundaries with that one movie, but nobody went and saw it. It ended up being more shock value than actually anybody seeing the movie. And Cherry was a Russo brothers film.
Yeah. And
honestly, I hate to say it, like, the Russo brothers have not had any real success outside of Marvel since they joined Marvel. Like, they had Community, and then they joined Marvel, and all the movies that they made since then have not been terribly great. I mean, you know, Gray Man and stuff like that. Just, yeah.
Extraction 2 wasn't that great.
Yeah, seriously. Like, I mean, did anybody see any of these, or did anybody see any of these and go, "Man, these were awesome movies"?
No, I saw Extraction 2. I was like, I didn't even see the first one, but I watched the second one because I was like, I was like, yeah. The Gray Man was, yeah.
I mean, yeah, they were producing on Everything Everywhere All at Once, but that doesn't really count. They just put money up. 21 Bridges was absolutely horrible.
I mean, Deadly Class was Deadly Class.
Yeah, but again, also executive producers. They just put money up.
Yeah, executive producers. I mean, at this point, I guess you just get so big, who cares, right? I mean, like.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, I think you still want to show that you can do something different. You just can't do. I mean, because again, people always point out to think about like, oh, like they're wealthy. What does it matter? They're wealthy. I was like, these people still have a certain level of pride in the craft that they do. Like, they are creators. They are artists first and foremost, and
they got to believe in a project, right? I mean, it's like,
yeah. I mean, this isn't Samuel L. Jackson. This isn't Morgan Freeman, where they are. I mean, and eventually what Bruce Willis became. Yeah. Where they just became like, you know, working actors, where they're like, you meet my asking rate, I'll do your movie. Like, these guys, a lot of these people still have discriminating taste on what they're willing to take and what they're not willing to take, and they want to be seen as creators. They want to be seen as artists. And if you consistently are having movies that just aren't, and it's one thing to not be financially successful, but these movies also aren't critically acclaimed either. So like, they're missing on both ends. Like, you could be like, well, we didn't make any money, but everybody loved it, and we got nominated for an Oscar.
Or even went to Sundance and was like the best film of, you know.
Yeah, like, or some shit. Yeah, like, I mean, because the rule used to be back in the day. Like, I mean, if it won an Oscar, if it was like one of the big Oscar films, it probably didn't make any money. And yeah, now it's like, your movie's not being nominated for any awards, and it didn't make any money. Like, that's just not a good look.
So we just talked about this. You're gonna have to fill me on this one because I really don't know much about this stuff. Dead Boy Detectives.
So
April 25th.
Yeah, it just dropped. Honestly, I was listening to a podcast like while I was in the shower real fast, and they were like, "Oh, things that we aren't going to review, but recommendations to watch." And they were like, "Dead Boy Detective." I was like, "Wait a minute, the universe of the Sandman spinoff that was promised." Like, so this got greenlit immediately after Sandman dropped, and they did no promotion for this whatsoever. Like, it just came out and didn't even get mentioned. I've heard good things so far, and I will probably find time to watch it because there's nothing else with Shogun being over with, and we having very, very few X-Men episodes left. I gotta find some new stuff to watch, but yeah, this is getting good reviews, but they did no push for it whatsoever.
Just looking at it.
So I mean, we'll see how it goes. I mean,
10 episodes.
Yeah, 8 or 10, something like that.
No, something like that. Okay, 8 maybe 8.
Yeah, it looks like 8.
Sure. Okay. I mean,
yeah,
it'd be a good watch. I tried to watch. Is it Baby Reindeer? Is that the new Netflix one?
Yeah, I heard good things about Baby Reindeer as well.
I couldn't. I got one episode and I was just distracted. I just need to sit down and focus. Oh, did you watch the new Rebel Moon?
No.
I didn't watch it. I don't know if I watched the first one or not. I don't know.
Like, I really want to care about Zack Snyder. I just don't.
Okay, I don't know.
I mean, I've been burnt on him so many times. and I always make the statement, and I will die on this hill, that he and Ridley Scott, and there's a couple other like creators who are really great at world building, but can't tell a story to save their lives.
I was gonna say M. Night Shyamalan. You got M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah, well, he's not good at telling a story or building a world, honestly. Yeah. Like, he's just, I mean, he had a couple successes, but overall he has not been great. Whether it be something that he wrote or something that he adapted. I mean, it's just, he's been missing on all fronts. But yeah, Snyder can take somebody else's, story and adapt it well enough. But yeah, he likes to make pretty things. Like, he makes worlds that are really beautiful and really rich and, really interesting, but the story that he tells within them are either very superficial or just not well pieced together, and to the point where you're just like, I don't know, like, you didn't. And it's one thing to leave people hanging for the sequel and tease things, but some of it just makes no absolute sense at all. Like, why are there robot zombies in Army of the Dead? Like, there was no explanation for that. There was no real setup or tease of why that exists. And it wasn't even so apparent that if you weren't looking for it or it didn't get pointed out to you, or you just blinked at the wrong time, you would have completely missed it and kept it going. So yeah, so I don't know. And then, I mean, Alien is an okay movie. The 14 different versions of Blade Runner, depending on which one is the actual story he wants to tell, it's like they're all over the place. He's just, Ridley Scott's really bad at telling a story, a concise and definitive story. And it shouldn't be that you get to go back to the well 10 times and go, oh no, wait a minute, no, it's this now. Oh no, wait a minute, is this now? It's like, if you couldn't get it done the first time, then maybe you should stop touching it.
Man, you're one of those hard ass English teachers, man. I need to rewrite my fucking draft 7 times. Okay, it matters.
Yeah, but you eventually turn it in, and there's the final paper, and you get graded on it. You don't go, oh wait a minute, hold on. Yeah, like, oh, I got a C on it, so I'm gonna go back 2 years later, rewrite it, resubmit it. Yeah, like, no, you got your C. It was mediocre.
Let's move on, right?
Yeah,
I got you. Look at you. Fall is good. Episode 1. I would say. I think I don't know. You got more of a rip on this one. So I think the middle episodes, some parts are slow, but it ramps up. It's good. I mean, it's entertaining. How about that for me? I didn't watch Fallout, but it's really entertaining.
You didn't play Fallout. You watched it.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I played 1 or 2 games. I have friends who are hardcore, faithful to the game, and they loved it for what it was. And that's a rare scenario to have, where people who played all the games and invested that time, right, had 100% completion on the games, says that anything that any adaptation is worth their time, and that they actually enjoyed it and felt that the changes that were made were worthwhile. And that's a hard thing to pull off, because normally the hardcore faithful, especially with games, and books, are no, you deviated from the source material, you suck. And my friends who who are hardcore fans of the Fallout franchise, like felt that it was really well done. And I was a casual, and I really enjoyed it. So
for Moon 2, if you do watch 20 minutes of slow-mos in Moon 2, so you can
Jesus.
That. Is there another boys season coming? I believe so. Was it July?
I believe so, yeah. So the boys got super delayed because it was done. Like the boys was done before we went into the strike. But basically the team over there, the writers held it hostage. The production team and the writers held it hostage because in solidarity with the strikes. Yeah. But that actually could have come out almost 2 years ago.
Okay. But we're gonna get it June 13th. What else do we got here? Kind of the thumbnail. It's a slow night, so when Kraven makes a thumbnail, you know it's slow. Kraven the Hunter moves to December release as Sony pushes Karate Kid to May 25.
I completely forgot they were doing a Karate Kid and like another reboot.
I kind of pushed off on Kraven, honestly. Like,
I mean,
I know it's Sony, man. I wish they would just make one good movie and just like stick to the recipe and let's go. Like
they just can't. It seems like at this point in time. I mean, it just seemed like it's like, hey, we're just pushing this shit out because we control the Spider-Man IP, and yeah, we're just gonna keep cranking shit out because we can make some money off of it. I mean, did you already see? I forgot to include it in here, but there's already been talks that Sydney Sweeney's been in a negotiation to take on the role of Felicia Hardy, Black Cat. Like we're just gonna pretend like Madam Web just never happened and recast her. But I mean, Marvel's done it too. Like Jim and Shin has played 2 different characters in the MCU, and there's somebody else who's also played like 2 different characters in the MCU as well. So I mean, not that big of a deal. Not enough people saw Madam Web for it to even matter anyway. Let's be real about it.
I mean, I need to go back. I mean, did you watch it? Did you watch it?
Yeah, it was bad. It's real bad. Arguably one of the worst. Like I didn't see Morbius. My girlfriend did, and she said honestly, Morbius is a better movie than Madam Web.
Wow. I mean, when Dakota Johnson is just destroying it in fucking interviews, he's like, "Don't watch this bitch."
Yeah, I mean, just like
I mean, that's terrible.
Yeah, it's like we got tricked into thinking that we were part of the MCU type of situation.
Yeah. Oh God. I wonder if she fires her agent right away. And then okay, so Marvel hopes to launch one new X-Men series every single month starting July 24. So we kind of talked about backstage. This kind of reminds of like House of X, Powers of X, right? Obviously.
Yeah, I mean, so this feels like as I was saying in the green room, is that I mean, it's pretty obvious that they never intended for the Kroika era to end this quickly. Like it had a 3-year run. Like I think they fully intended that to be the new status quo going forward for a while, and that they were going to mine that for stories for many years to come. And that whatever happened between them and Hickman in the Fallout, where he ended up leaving, killed those plans. And so basically they brought about the death of, Kroika, and the fall of X happened. And yeah, that we're now here with, because the person whose vision we were in no longer works for the company, we got to reboot and start a new vision. And it's annoying. I mean, I looked at truly like Kroika and House of Powers as a new jumping off point for me to get back into X-Men again. And there was too many books that I just didn't care about happening. And then, X of Swords just sucked the life out of me. So I was like, I'm good. Like this is going to have more titles than what was actively going on during the times of Kroika, which means that there will be more titles than we ever had at the peak of the 90s. When there was 7 X books simultaneously. There will be more than that actively going on for this. And I'm just like, that's just too much.
So if I'm a Marvel guy, right? You're more into reading than I am, obviously. Since we've seen the success of X-Men 97, do you kind of, I wouldn't say let that, I mean, it's going to be July 24, right? So X-Men 97 will be done, at least the first season, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you kind of play off that kind of thing and maybe do because there's not many characters, I would say, in X-Men 97, right? You have Sinister and you have the gang, kind of maybe 6 new titles off that. I mean, I know it's not 40 titles and, you got to make money and do all this stuff, but You know, like you could do like I don't know if you do like a Jubilee, like a Wolverine, you know what I'm saying, like a X-Men 97 style.
I think the dangerous thing with doing that is that you mess around and start stepping on product for the movies.
Okay.
I think if you start doing bigger expanded universe of stories around characters and you pull things back to around the time of X-Men 97, we've already done that before because there was a comic book series that was X-Men 92, I believe, that came out some years ago that was a continuation of the world that had been established by the animated series. So you're stepping on that again, and people are going to be questioning, well, what's the difference between this and that? You also run the risk of, like I said, we've got movies coming, and it's pretty obvious that X-Men 97 is going to be, if not the world that we exist in, then a world very similar to that. It's going to be what ultimately is the multiverse that we end up in for the purpose of the MCU X-Men.
Yeah, and it's tough too because like Jubilee and Gambit. I mean, Gambit was gonna have a movie, then didn't. I guess you could do like Jubilee because Jubilee's not gonna have her own movie. I would assume, right? She would just be.
Honestly, I think they need to stay away from the standalone movies. Okay. I think that would be a very bad idea. I think they need to, like, X-Men work best as teams, and if you just want to have more product, because Marvel loves having as much product as possible, if they really just want to have more product, just focus on the greater like X teams that are out there. Like
I mean, for having a series on a comic book, you could just do like you know what I'm saying, like not like one off.
I think that would be rough, man. I think like one character like that. I mean, they haven't done that in a long. Like Wolverine's the only one who consistently gets his own solo title because he's the only one anybody really cares about that can that people that people want to write for. Also, let's be real about it too. Like the reason why these other characters don't typically get their own standalone books because people don't want to write for them. Like nobody wants to be perpetually writing for Jubilee. Like you'll include Jubilee in your Excalibur book, but you're not trying to have Jubilee be the primary focus of your book. Maybe there was a time when Gambit made sense. The closest we got was Mr. and Mrs. X, and then the series that followed after that with Rogue and Gambit. But doing the whole Gambit solo thing is just that was 90s. Like the days are just behind us now. At this point.
And it's so hard to. I mean, how long can you? It's almost like Days of Our Lives of a soap opera, right? How long can you drag out a Rogue and Gambit love series, right?
Yeah, I mean, also too. I mean, though the X universe has a lot of rogues and villains and stuff. I mean, eventually characters are going to start running into each other. Storylines are going to start to intertwine. You're of course going to want to do your big summer crossover to try and sell all the books, including the ones that aren't moving too well. Like the Marvel machine, unfortunately, from a comic perspective, like is their own worst enemy when it comes to this sort of thing.
Yeah. No, I get you. And that's all we kind of got for news. So it'll be interesting. It's going to be real interesting what Marvel has for a backup plan. So if it doesn't go well, so
yeah,
it's going to be real interesting. So, John Z couldn't make it tonight. He's doing a little family thing, which is cool. Props to him. He did do the market report. I will say I did not look at any of these books. I didn't have time to do that, but that's okay. We're going to run through these real quick. Let's see what we got. AF15 2.0 for 21,000. So we're at 10,000 a point.
And we're back to pre-COVID prices for that book now.
Would you grab one of these? I guess at 21,000.
Not again. So I got into one at roughly. So the person was asking roughly 2021, and I did all trade. I just wouldn't do it again at this point. Like it's a book that I've had twice now. I had in a 2.0, had in a 3.0. It's a great book. It's really pretty to look at. But
did you keep one?
No, okay. I have none at this point. I mean, maybe someday I'll get back into it again. Maybe
I guess. Do you regret not keeping one because it's such a? I wouldn't say iconic book, but you know what I'm saying.
No, because there's still plenty of them out there. Like you're just willing to spend the money. Like they're out there. Like you can have one for reasonable coin.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it was a cool thing to show off and flex and be like, I got one. Other people ain't got one. But yeah, no, I mean, it's just not.
I'm back. Sorry, my bad.
No worries. It's just not one that I'm like, I gotta have. Like, I mean, Spider-Man, I appreciate and enjoy, but it's not. The X-Men is that for me. Like, I will always keep an X-Men one in my collection.
Yeah.
AF-15, I could go either way on.
Okay, interesting. Because like I saw my first AF-15 back in like 2011, and some guy had it raw and wanted to restore it and stuff. I'm like, man, like and then as we got older, or I guess more seasoned into the game, right? Everyone had an AF-15 at a boot. You know what I'm saying? At least most people did. Something,
Yeah,
it wasn't like some, it's not like a Tech 27 or an Action 1 where it's like or something of that nature where it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, if you're willing to spend the coin, they are out there, and people will negotiate because they're not so rare that you can write your own ticket type situation.
Interesting. Let's see. What else we have here? Back to Blip 1 here. CGC 98 for 1580. Seems a little high to me. I mean, I thought we were around 1,000, but maybe not.
Yeah, that's not one I've kept up with. I mean, I know it was like on all the lists at the time of Super Mario's releasing, but
yeah, I mean, honestly, I mean, I'm really not buying that. I mean, I don't know. It's cool for if you're a Nintendo fanboy, but for me, it's like,
yeah, it just didn't have the significance for me.
Let's see. High 22 average was 2169, 1674 for 23 average. So we're kind of down. I mean, not down, but we kind of went around here. This is an interesting one. This next one, The Curse of the Bambino. So it was signed by obviously is it Daniel Jacob Horan, I think. 26 of 222. $407. We probably just a weird wonkiness thing. Not claimed I know about this book or anything, but
not a thing about it.
Let's look at. Yeah, I guess I don't really see. Maybe it's just one thing that doesn't come up very often because that one came up, and I'm going to skip a couple. And Hammer of the Gods came up as well, so 319. So. If you see one of these lying around, I was saying it's in a dollar bin somewhere, but if you see it, I don't know too much about it. So, here we go. 1992 AF-15 VF was 6K in LCS 1 in Orlando. So, wow. That's interesting. Crossfire, a little Dave Stevens action. 796, man. Signed by Dave Stevens, too.
Like I said, man, like Dave Stevens has been like the topic of conversation as of late. It's kind of funny.
He is the new Adam Hughes, J. Scott Campbell, every bit artist of the day. So it's interesting. Cool Dr. Doom book, obviously Foom 4, Jack Kirby cover 8.5 for only $255. That's not bad. I mean, I don't know if you make money on that somehow when Doom comes out. Maybe. I don't know. Kind of like mine.
I mean, it all depends on. I mean, I don't know. If you had asked me a month ago, like, is any film or television show going to bring up the value of a book? I would have told you no. But X-Men 97 has proven that, like, if you put out a good product, people will buy comics. So, yeah.
Futurama 1, 2, and number 3, but one's a newsstand and it's a 9.8 for $525. I mean, nice. People love Futurama. Obviously, we grew up with Futurama, so that's a thing. The Real Ghostbusters, number 1 from '88, newsstand edition for $470. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, stuff like this, these basically kids comics, they, especially from those publishers where these were not taken care of. These were definitely in a back corner somewhere at an LCS only because they had to order a certain amount of them to keep them in good standing with the publisher. But yeah, these are pretty rare.
Invincible Iron Man 9 CGC 98 variant for $611. Man, what the mighty have fallen on this one.
Oh yeah, because was that a 5G book at one point in 98?
Sir, 5,000.
So yeah.
Malibu 13s, CGC 9.8, $3,288 for this book. So I like this book. I wish I had one in my collection. I've never had one in my collection, but I wouldn't. I'm trying to get a 90.
Yeah, I've never come across this book in the wild before or any of the scenarios. Never even seen one in person.
Oh wow! Look at this one. I sold an 8.5 Ghostbusters newsie 4 months ago for $90.
Damn.
Damn. Marvel Spotlight 32, first appearance of Spider Woman, 9.8 for $1,218.
I love how somebody is running the whole like newsstand game. It was like this book was only available in newsstand. I've never seen it in any other form. But
Same boat.
I'm not gonna knock the hustle.
Hey, it didn't even have newsstand on the damn newsstand edition on the Indica. So.
Yeah. Well, I will say that, like, CGC, even with stuff that was clearly newsstand, was bad about when they first like released the newsstand stuff. Like, case in point, I had a X-Men, Uncanny X-Men 211 newsstand and direct edition in the same order. Was not denoted on the label, but another book in the order, multiple other books in the order were all listed as newsstand. Nice. So they were just not consistent with that shit at that point in time when they first started rolling it out.
Nightmare 1, Freddy Krueger's Nightmare on Elm Street #1, CGC 9.8 for $370. So that's a good book. I love this.
Yeah,
book.
nice.
I love this book.
Great artwork.
A Rare Spawn 189 Sketch Edition. Only 100 copies existed. $3,052. We saw this a couple days ago. I think it was like same price. So pretty rare when you start getting these 100s and 200s newsstands. So or sketch variants. I'm sorry. So Predator 1 CGC 9.8 for $406. Man,
I'm solid.
Yeah. I'm glad Predator finally gets his. I wouldn't say heyday, but it's actually becoming somewhat popular.
I mean, yeah, Predator 1, Alien 1, people pay good money for those. The Dark Horse stuff sells.
Platinum Spider-Man #1, CGC 9.8, only a 9.6, but still $1,151, man.
I've only had one of these ever, and I managed to get a 9.6 on it, and I definitely sold it for way less than $1,500. Let's put it that way.
Nice.
Or $1,100.
Well, not nice for you, but good for this guy. He got almost $1,200 out of it.
Yeah.
With 33 bids too, so that's it jumped up there pretty quickly. So.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what his starting was, but I don't know if it was $1 or not. Star Wars or Secret Wars 8 newsstand Canadian $1 price variant, $1,443. Man, I mean Secret Wars is coming, so we know it's not.
No, absolutely.
It's not going to be anything crazy. Transformers 198, almost $1,200. My stack of Transformers 1s are not 9.8s, so I don't sub them. But no, Transformers 1, all this old stuff from the 80s and 90s, man, it's starting to get its heyday again.
Absolutely.
Pretty cool three lot book. Terrifier books 1, 2 is super rare, I guess, out of print, and then Terrifier book 2 it might be a cover B or something. So $300 for people who want to get in that genre of horror books. I still need to watch. I watched a little bit of the first one, and I just was like,
watch the first one, never made it around to the second one.
Yeah, the first one was like, man, it's a little wild for me, man. Like, and it was like late at night. Not trying to say like scary stuff. It was just like, I don't know if I really want to get all this shit crammed in my brain before I go to bed.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the last ones, War Report #5, Golden Age book, 50 from 53, 5.5, $584. So I think that's a good grade. I mean, it looks very solid. Colors are bright for 5.5. It looks really, really well done. So $580 doesn't seem like that.
No, definitely probably worth the money.
And not last but not least, I guess it's last but not least, but signed Dave Stevens. We're going Christmas special, boys. Special #1, $282. Dave Stevens' effect is real.
Yeah, people are chasing that stuff down right
now. That's all we got for the old market report. We're only at 30 minutes, 40 minutes in, so we're doing it quickly. That's okay. I'm not worried about it. I can actually go to bed and actually get some sleep.
Hey, true story.
What do you got on the pickups? I have 0.
All right, so went down to Savannah this past weekend and ended up in this little kind of hole in the wall comic book shop. Was not expecting to really find anything, but
how was the weather? Was it nice?
Oh yeah, super nice down there. We went down for my girlfriend's a big fan of Nickel Creek, so they were performing down there, so we went and saw them.
Nice.
But I bought these actually before, and they showed up before we headed down there. So I recently sold a Goon Color Special #1 98. You can go find a sale. It did pretty well. And then come to find out that I was able to find 2 more than Bad Boys. So we're gonna submit those and see what happens.
Nice.
I
still got the Goon foil signed editions that Leg and me bought.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if they're worth anything. They're sitting in a box somewhere.
I'm tempted to hold on to one of those. And I mean, he's done Heroes in the past. He was at C2E2 this year, I believe. He did this random, I like comics up in Vancouver, or I love comics in Vancouver. I like comics in Vancouver, around where I used to stay. But I was hoping to maybe save a copy to get him to sign for CGC witnessing.
Yeah.
All right, so now getting into the stuff I snagged at that shop. So we've got a little White Tiger #1 action, female White Tiger. Let's see. I'm trying to use an order of impressiveness. So newsstand 126.
Nice.
Pretty clean copy.
Looks
probably 9.2, 9.4, maybe even 9.6, depending on the person on a good day. Gargoyles 1 newsstand.
I love that book. I had that book.
Yeah, I was like, and it's a clean copy too. So I was like, I will definitely take you Newsy Gargoyles 1. We got a little Sandman 1 action. Yeah, I won't pass these up when I see them. Again, a decently clean copy. So we'll see what happens. But again, as long as it's above a 7, I'll take it. Like, that's just a book you just don't leave behind. A little Sandman 8 action. So, a little first death. Let's see. A probably 8.5 to 9.0 copy for Spider-Gwen.
I saw somebody wanted like $400 for Spider. Was it Spider-Gwen? I mean, you're on the same Reddit as I am. Was it Reddit?
Yeah, I didn't see that one. I honestly don't do a whole lot of looking around in.
Did you see the ASM 300 181 and?
No, I did not.
Oh, it was like $400 you wanted for it all. It was insane. I mean, it wasn't like 9.0 copies and stuff, but still.
Interesting. Speaking of Secret Wars, we got a little Secret Wars 8 action. This copy is definitely beat, but again, for the price, I can't complain on a newsstand edition.
I got a couple of those too, just laying around.
This one is much cleaner. Newsstand, again, also from that same shop. Let's see. A little Akira 38 action.
Is that last issue?
Yep, last issue. Never been opened, but still not a 9.8 copy. It's so frustrating to come across something like that where it's just been, it just got forgotten but just
banged around in a box somewhere.
Yeah, just banged around the box until somebody finally put it in something. But it was crazy because I went to go like kind of partially flip through, and the books like with these type of books, if they've never been read or not because they still are like firmly flat. But still, I was like, I've never had a 38. I've had multiple ones. I've graded multiple ones to 9.8. Never had a 38 before. So I was like, I'll take that. All right, now we're getting into the cooler Silver Age stuff. So again, that same shop. A little ASM 17. I say probably a 5.5, 6.0 maybe.
Nice. Look at that. I don't even need to see them, and I know. You can see it on the screen.
This guy, so we got an ASM 25. I'd say probably pushing maybe a 7 now.
Nice. So
again, happy about that for the price. And then we have a probably 7, like 6.5, 7.0, 44.
Great cover. I love that cover.
Even though some would call it dead spec, I still can't pass up a First Mirror.
Oh, I love that book. I've had that book, and I've had 1, and I've had 35.
Yeah. I've had this as high as an 8.0 before. But yeah, that black cover is really hard to get a clean copy of. And this one, this one's got its issues, but generally speaking, it's pretty solid. I mean, there's like a little bit of bottom staple rust, but again, for what I paid for it, I can't complain. Now for the stuff that is like I've never seen these before in person. We have a True Mad #2.
Nice.
And #4.
Nice.
So again, these are 2 books that I have never come across in the wild. But I was like, I would gladly take them off your hands for the money. They are a little on the brittle side, so I'm not gonna even try and attempt to like have these press and clean. I'm just gonna send them off to CDC and let them do what they do, and grade them. But yeah, I mean, I was hoping I had a 1 in there somewhere, but unfortunately, just the 2 and the 4. But for what I paid for the 2 and the 4, I mean, even if they grade out to a 3.0, 3.5, at least one of them probably is in that range, and the other one's probably a brittle, probably 4.5, maybe 5.0. I still think I can cover the entire lot of what I purchased off of the sale of these 2. So, but yeah, that is it for me.
And you know, I guess we can talk about that for a second. You know, when we buy books, like it's the same thing with you and me, right? We try to recoup our money within those books, right? You know, smartly. You know, unless it's something totally for your PC and it's like, oh my god, I need to buy this book for whatever reasons. But you know, if we're buying, I guess you say speculative or keys or something of that nature, usually, hopefully, you can buy a couple keys and keep your one key you really want, and hopefully the other keys pay for that one book, or a couple keys, like, oh, if they don't sell, I'm not really out of the money, or I'm hurting, or yada yada yada. So
yeah, exactly.
Had a #4 abandoned house find.
Nice.
Like that. Always nice pickups as always.
Appreciate it.
So yeah, that's all we got. Carter, Carter haven't done the show in like a month. I feel like Carter has to work again tomorrow night, so we won't be on tomorrow night. I've been playing a lot of Fortnite with International Comics Josh, and James was just at C2E2, so he was doing his thing there, and then we were playing with Josh and stuff. So we've been doing that. Has your eBay ended?
No, actually. So
I can bring that up too.
Yeah, it's the link in the private chat. Yeah. So if anybody wants to support me, again, like shameless self promotion, I threw up one of my X-Men 1s, my 6.0 is on eBay as a no reserve auction. So again, this book started at 99 cents. It still has 6 days left on it as of tonight. It ends at 9:30 Eastern time on Sunday. And also it has doing a couple X-Men books, because again, it's worth to bring some attention. So there's an X-Men 35 4.0 that's up with it as well. A X-Men 139 9.4 newsstand. A 148 9.2 white pages newsstand. A 171 9.2. And a first full appearance of Bishop 283 9.6 as well, that are all ending at the same time. So again, feel free to bid on any of those. Also feel free to grab anything else. I need to post. I got stuff coming back from CDC hopefully in the next couple of weeks or so. So I'll refill the eBay. It's gotten a little thin, things to move. So
Are you worried? You're not worried, right? I mean, you're already almost 8,400.
Yeah, no. I mean, the fact that I'm already at that point with basically a week left. Yeah, I'm not sweating it. I'll hit where I need to hit for it to break even at the bare minimum, and I will probably turn a decent bit of profit on it, depending on where it falls.
I'm just gonna cruise around here. You see Doc Joe's oh, you're not in that chat. Look at these fucking books. I'm gonna kind of spoil it a little bit. I won't tell him where it's at, but he picked up some 9/8, but Jesus, the books he's put. Let me see if I can put these up real quick. You want to talk about a fucking store? Jesus Christ! I was like, man, I haven't seen fucking bangers like this in a while.
Yeah, show the wolf.
Oh yeah, I got you, man. Hold on, there's like a bunch of fucking books here. So shout out Doc Joe, man. I was just laughing. I go, did you just buy them all and just start your retirement fund? Jesus. Okay, here we go. Let's do this. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, Cerebus 1 there. Now that's hard because we always talked about the counterfeit, right, versus the reals. But I always say if you look at the rest of these books, I'm going to say this one's real. X-Men 1 he had laying around there.
Oh, nice.
He had AF 15 3.0 signed by Stan Lee.
Very nice.
This is just more of the X-Men ones, so you can help use more of that.
Multiple X-Men ones.
Yeah, right. Crazy. Showcase 4, 3.5. Tales of Astonished 27. Low qualified. It's married and detached centerfold, but 1.8 tech or FF5. Showcase 22. 3.0.
Yeah, all the Silver Age keys.
Yeah, Jim 83, right? 3.0. Not Golden Records reprint, the real book. FF5 4.0.
Nice.
Here's a 4.0 of FF1. There's a House of Secrets 92 4.0 if you can see down there. What else do we have? We talked about Sandman, little Green Lantern action. And then an ASM 1.8. So
man, I wonder where this little honey hole is.
Yeah, I don't want to say too much. He didn't tell me, but I guess this guy has multiple stores, so this is one store. But Joe told me, he goes, like I was asking like what was the price on like an FF5 4.0 or something. I was like, did he ask like because you probably can get this for like I would say like what $7,000 probably 7,500 roughly on a good day probably.
Yeah, something in that range, I think.
I think he was asking like 10.
Yeah, okay. So this guy don't want to sell books. He just
it's eye candy, right? It's a museum.
Yeah.
Because like me, like you, right? Me and you, right? You go in the you're like, okay, you might have some wiggle room, but if you're $10,000 off, there's no wiggle room.
Yeah, I mean that was how it felt last year when I was walking around San Diego. I was just like going over to booths and trying to do some trades and whatnot, and people were $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 above market. I was just like,
and like you don't want to be insulting at the end of the day either. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like obviously you don't want to move books, and it's just
Well, I mean, there's still people who like that sunk cost fallacy of I bought in way too high or at the peak during COVID, and I'm trying to not lose a dime on this book. And again, I reiterate the point that if you are like these folks at these shows who are doing this professionally, just take the hit and move on because you can write that off on your taxes. Like that is just.
You can't. I guess it's ego, right? Like you can't win them all, right? Especially if you're like me and you, right? We're not real comic book dealers. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not going to every con. We're not living and breathing this shit. But you can't win everything, and sometimes you got to take a loss, man. I mean, it's just.
Yeah, I mean, again, like there's definitely books that I have sold where it's like, oh well, caught that a little too high during the COVID time and had to let it go. But again, I kept track of what I bought it for. I kept track of what I sold it for, and when tax season comes around, being like, hey. That was a loss of $2,000 or $3,000. Cool. That reduces my tax footprint. It's nice to have the money, but with the way the taxation is, I was like, honestly, having some losses is better than like having a tax-free loss of $3,000. In theory, is better than netting the
$3,000.
Yeah, because then you're losing 25% or more due to the tax bracket. Yeah, probably close to 30% or more due to the tax bracket. So you're actually making $2,700 off of that book. So
cool. So yeah, we got that. We did your thing, so I give you a little love there, just so we're all square. What else we got? No, that's okay. Con season's rolling around, right? I know Motor City's in May for me. You're at San Diego, right?
Yeah, I'll be at San Diego. I'll be at Heroes. So we just had C2E2 this past weekend. Yeah,
I didn't really hear too much news out of C2E2, I guess.
Did you? Not really. No, yeah, right? nobody really had anything to say about it. So
I don't know if that's. Honestly, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I don't know what kind of indicator it kind of brings off on the whole.
Well, I mean, what was the last year? C2E2 was all the drama around the acetate gate. So I just it's not that. So I think again, generally quiet for a C2E2. I mean, that's typically when a little bit of stuff here and there that's comic book. Like, you're not going to get any big Marvel announcements other than what they're planning to do in comics. Like, you're not going to get any movie announcements from a C2E2 for the most part.
Right.
So.
But I guess I just didn't see hot book. I'm not saying I really pay attention to this shit either, but I didn't see like C2E2 hot books. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, this is the variant that dropped during C2E2, and this is worth.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, we're used to having a little bit more of that, and it definitely was super quiet. I think, again, after last year, I think a lot of people are keeping their heads down.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people had a lot of answering to do when it came to, last year with the acetate gate and, getting boxes of a con exclusive and skipping lines and shit like that.
Yeah, we're influencers, but you know what I'm saying, like the influencer route or whatever you want, or the buddies of the whatever variant people are throwing it.
Yeah, so I think people just kept their heads down. Like, nobody wanted to smoke and was just like, nope, it's bad for business. I mean, like, no matter how much pride you have and how much of, a heel that you want to be, like, you've got to accept that's bad for business at a certain point. And people are rooting for your downfall when, your name is plastered all over shit like that. So, yeah, people I think just kept their heads down.
Okay. All right. I want to thank everybody doing it. Just thinking about everything else. Yeah, follow me on the stream life on Twitch. We're doing the_stream_life on Twitch. We're doing Fortnite. I just kind of post our Fortnite sessions. And I put an Instagram. I just put when we win. So we'll do that, and that's it. I appreciate everybody. We'll talk to everybody later. So deuces.